Have you ever looked at your gun wall and thought, man, there has to be a better solution to keep my firearms organized and in perfect order? Something strong, sturdy, maybe something I could throw more than just an AR or a handgun on? Yeah, there is something out there, and we're going to talk to the guy that created it. That's right, we're going to talk to Joe from Ready Mount. I think you're going to like this episode, especially if you like organization and guns at the same time. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode 257, A Night with Ready Mount. Enjoy. All right, welcome back to the Range Minded Podcast. And as you see, I am not alone. That's right, I have a guest on the show tonight. This is Joe from Ready Mount. Joe, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. Now, you reached out to me. I was actually going to reach out to you, but you did the right thing and reached out to me, and we finally connected. We kind of did some back and forth a little bit, but now we finally got you on the show. Welcome. I'm excited to have you, man.
I'm excited to be here. You first podcast with Ready Mount, so pretty stinking cool.
Well, we're gonna change that. You'll get your own podcast by the time the show's over.
That might be too much for me.
So people may or may not have heard about you. I mean, you've been pretty active on Instagram.
Trying.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's hard to run a business and be on the socials. I know how that goes.
Yeah, you've seen the boomstick.
Yeah. For those of us that are not us, but those out there that don't get on the socials very much or haven't heard of you, tell us a little bit about Ready Mount. What's all about?
Yeah, so Ready Mount is a company I started. Honestly, the AR mount was the first mount I designed. I think that's like generation 5. I didn't put it to market till like generation 4.
Right on.
But I have a little gun shop on my property, and I was tired of my show guns kind of bouncing off my walls. I'd walk them in and out, so I wanted something to hang it up with. And honestly, everything I found was all magwell based, and I couldn't stand that concept.
Right.
So I like to have them ready. So I kind of, hence the name. So I kind of designed my own system that hang off the buffer tube, and it ended up working really well, and started selling them just to customers. And then kind of was like, well, what else can I make? You know, my plate carrier over here was on a quilt rack. My battle belt, which is inside, was, you know, hanging on a chair, and it just started evolving into more and more things and different requests from customers. Like the PPE holder behind me is probably my favorite one I've ever designed, because I've got like 4 of them in my garage. I have like 4 of them in my office for all of our different ears and eyes. And
that's rad.
Yeah, it was just kind of, it honestly started with what I needed, and then I was like, well, this is kind of cool. And it evolved to like, okay, well, now I need a mounting system, because I didn't want to dedicate, you know, an entire wall to slat or mod or anything like that.
Right.
So started toying with that idea and landed on pick rail, just because I've got extra optics and grips and all kinds of stuff laying around on top of my safe. And we went to like, well, it's like pick rail would be perfect. You can throw all your extra stuff up there. And so kind of evolved again upon everything else I designed. I was like, well, let's do a mounting solution for people who don't want to dedicate an entire wall or room. You know, so my normal guns are in my office / guest room. So, you know, if guests come over, my wife tells me I have to take everything down. So it's like 2 minutes to remove it from that versus, you know, an entire wall.
Yeah. Yeah. And those, like the slat wall systems and stuff, I mean, that can get really expensive. And like you say, you're dedicating an entire wall to something that, I mean, you're fastening things to the wall, you're making a big mess. Where these, I'm just looking at the image behind you there, like you're just running some pick rail on. You can move it around wherever you need to. That's pretty cool.
I like the pick's patent pending right now, but it's it's like almost 17 inches, but it's 16 on center holes, and they actually interlock at the seam. So you have a continual thing, but that way you can nail your studs and just chain as many as you want.
Hell yeah.
And then, you know, finish them off with a little finishing cap, so it looks like one solid piece, and it's a little clean, real simple. I got to mess around with pick or a slat wall a little bit in one of my past jobs, and I just couldn't stand the stuff.
Yeah.
And it always fails. You go to a gun shop and they go to pick a gun off the wall, and, you know, they do that, and there goes the mount with it and clings on the floor. So.
Oh no. Party fail.
I did just throw that up there.
It's all good. It's all good.
I mean,
what do you do? Yeah. It's all good. So
The
from
sign that
like,
was up there is now at Mid-Star.
I gotcha. Dang, Mid-Star. I'm just kidding. That's a good shot. That's a good shot.
Good people.
So from idea to your first like functional concept, how long did it take you to actually make that happen, you think?
Oh my gosh. I wish I still had no, I do still have the first one I designed. I left it in my office as kind of like the homage to like always improve because it looks terrible and it did not function well. I think that one to draw up probably took me like, gosh, 3 or 4 weeks to kind of like measure it out and kind of test tolerances and print it out and over and over and over and over again. And then went to a different iteration, which was a couple more improvements, and then it completely scrapped the entire design except for the center part that holds the buffer tube. That part stayed the same, and then rebuilt the entire body to look cool but function like 10 times better.
Yeah.
Things like obviously like this one's slanted on the bottom, so when you go take it out, you just throw it up, and it rides right out. Things like that, little improvements. I think. Gosh, I would say probably 8 months before the AR mount was like where it is now. And then everything else I got a little faster at it. Would get an idea in my head and then sit there and look like a crazy person just drawing like 5,000 different lines on a computer, trying to see what would work and what wouldn't. Honestly, this pistol mount and the universal stock mount were the hardest ones to design. Just trying to get this angle right and make sure it would rotate with like a subcompact or full size, would hold both without falling, and then that thing was a nightmare. That took me like several months on its own to design the universal, just because it has to adjust.
Yeah, I mean you're right, because everything's not every rifle is going to be the same. So
different widths, width links, angles. I mean, I actually went down to Mid-Star, and they had, I spent probably an hour there. And we just went through every gun they had. It just fits. The only two that didn't fit, I take it back. It was one, and it was a P90. That was the only one that didn't fit.
It's because it's
we
weird.
even threw a Mossberg Shockwave in there. It didn't fit. And I was like, all right,
wow,
cool.
Well,
Couldn't believe
awesome.
it, but yes, it was. That was great because we got to test some things, and like I had to change it just a little bit after that first iteration, and it's just been evolving since there. They're always slightly changing. The ones you see behind me are pretty much dead set now where they're at, and then we're always
Nice.
What's next? What's the next piece that we need to have?
That's awesome. It's great when you can take an idea out of a thought, and even if the first iteration is not terribly functional, at least hey, this could work. And and then you're making those juices are flowing, and you're making little bitty changes, and man, look at you now. You've got a system that works.
Yeah, I think we're up to like 15 different mounts, something like that. And my gosh, I have like a dozen more on the dry erase board that are in development and in the process of like being created. It's ever changing, which is kind of fun.
Are you seeing, like, once you're creating your ready mount system, are you seeing other things outside of the ready mount platform? They're like, oh man, the two-way community needs this, and I mean, you don't have to say what it is because I don't want to take away those ideas and give them to other people. But are you seeing other needs?
Yeah, there are. People will bring them to me. Like I get a ton of requests for different things here and there, and I'm always kind of like, well, that's a little niche. But then there's some like working on a universal shelf, just like a real simple dump tray. Something just kind of toss all that random stuff in. Talk with certain companies about building like proprietary mounts specifically for theirs, white boxed or branded to what they want. Like a super strong hook. People keep asking for just a really basic hook.
Yeah,
just some of it's ridiculously tough. That one's in there. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones I'm toying with, and then people bring them to me. I'm like, okay, I like that. That's this iteration of the pistol mount, the rotated. That was just a customer request. He wanted to put 10 pistols.
Is that pistol muzzle down? Is that what that is? It's kind of hard for me to see exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It just drops
in, just straight that way. But he wanted to put a bunch together and stack them real close, and he couldn't do that with this way. So that was purely a customer's request. It's like, hey, I want something so I can get like 10 of them in a line. Like, oh yeah, that works.
I can do that.
Yeah, I can make that. And that one was fun. It was a little interesting trying to figure out with optics and flashlights can't do anything about. That's got to be its own one. But
Yeah.
making sure it had room for an optic, but it wasn't too big for all the different sizes. So yeah, it's kind of changing here and there, but yeah, there's a bunch on the docket. And every time somebody brings me a good idea, I'm like, yeah, let's get it done.
Right on. And as far as like weight, obviously, I mean, you got a full rifle sitting up there, and two rifles and some mags. Are they pretty sturdy? Are they like
yeah?
tough?
2 weeks ago, I haven't been posting them because I've just kind of been crazy with life. But we tested all of the rifle mounts and then the Cobra buckle and the plate carrier just on that side. I had 130 pounds of weight in my garage, and they all held them with not a single failure. So the only one that broke was the battle belt, and that's because it was 130 pounds. I couldn't believe it wasn't breaking, so I started jumping on it. So I broke it that way.
Your battle belt,
350 pounds.
Your battle belt weighs over 100 pounds. Is that what you're telling me?
That's with me on it, yeah. Yeah. People ask that all the time. They're like, well, it's going to be not strong. Like, it bends the rail. The rail will bend before the mount will break. And that's, heavy duty aluminum railing.
Damn.
I mean, I can't imagine anybody with a 130 pound AR.
No. I mean you can technically hang a Barrett from there.
With like multiple.
Yeah, because that's what, 28 pounds for a 107. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you can stack like 10 of them on there. You'll be all right.
Damn.
Yeah. I was honestly a little surprised myself. I was thinking, someone would fail sooner than others, and they all took every bit of weight I had. I was like, I'm not going over 130 pounds. It's ridiculous in and of itself.
Yeah, I don't see. I mean, people are stupid. You never know what somebody will do, but yeah, I don't imagine.
Yeah. I mean, even like, plate carrier. Yeah. Mine, since there was my ceramic plates in there, I'm not going to make something that I'm not comfortable is going to hold it up. And again, if your plate, your whole plate system's over 130 pounds, man, what do you have on you?
Yeah, you're an animal. You can handle that.
Why?
What, as far as materials, you mentioned the rail is aluminum. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the rail's a aluminum pick rail that we have anodized here in town. It's actually machined here in town too. Try and keep everything as local to Idaho as we can get.
And we love Idaho products.
That's right. It's a mecca of firearms innovation, so it's a perfect spot to be at.
That surprises me. People don't, and I've talked about it before on the show. I think we've been talking about it with Nick one time when he was on the show, that Idaho is there. There's actually a ton of 2A related businesses in the state of Idaho, and a lot of people don't think about it or don't know about it. Though once they start counting, like, oh yeah, you got Seekins, and then CCI, and like you start counting all these, and then you come down to the Boise area, and then there's a ton more. Idaho's a blessed place. I wish more companies would come to Idaho, actually.
I mean, you can't even throw a rock without hitting a gun shop. And the best part is, like, all the gun shops in town, nobody's competitive with each other.
No. There's at least not on that side of the state.
Yeah, not on this side here. Anyway, in the valley, I'll say.
So, because I've worked on the range, boy, everybody's going to know what it is when I start saying it. But the shop here in Idaho Falls, the range that I used to work at here years ago, and there's quite a few shops in Idaho Falls. But for a while, there were some bitter feelings when we first opened up with all the other shops in town, and it pisses me off. Like, there's no reason for any gun shop to be angry at another gun shop. We're all on the same team, and I wish. And I had the same issue a little bit with some employees when I was at Independence. You just look, we're playing the same game. Just because somebody buys a gun at a different shop, who cares? They're going to come here and shoot, and we're going to give them the best experience possible. And we're not going to rag on them for anything. We want to create people to keep in the community, not turn people away.
So, I said, a ton of people in Independence, especially when they're coming in for a first-time pistol buy. I'm like, no, you're not going to buy what your buddy said. You're going to go shoot them, see what you actually like. And then if you buy it there, you buy it there, whatever. If you come back. That's great. But I want to make sure you've got what you need. And every shop here in town is a little bit different. They all have like their own kind of niche and their own kind of customer base. And that's what's perfect about it.
And that's something I try to instill in the community as a whole. In the creator, not that I'm this massive creator, but in the creator universe of the 2A community, like, there's a ton of ego,
And for the most part, people are pretty cool. Like when you go to SHOT Show, you're going to meet some people like, man, that guy is cooler than I thought he would be. And some of them are way down to earth. They'll sit and talk to you. But then you get some of the big kids that are in the community that just don't have time. Like, and they're kind of arrogant. And some of it might be it's SHOT Show and they're just strung out from being at SHOT Show because it's kind of overwhelming. But I have met people in the community that I'm like, screw that guy. I'm never going to talk to that guy again. And then you get the infighting. Like there's been many times on YouTube that these creators just get in fights over stupid stuff that doesn't even matter. So I tried to encourage people that are coming into the community that those are isolated incidents. For the most part, the 2A community is very open-armed and welcoming.
Yeah, I've always said it, like being in the industry now for several years, it's like it's a bunch of teenage girls, and there's always a little bit of drama, but it's never like anything serious. And it's honestly entertaining if you get to get used to it.
It can be. Yeah, it can be. I've pissed off more than one competitive shooter. I'd set up some shooting competitions there at Independence, and I've made some competitive shooters mad because they're playing my game, not the game that they're used to. And so they didn't like the rules, but they had to play by the rules if they wanted to win. And man, I got a lot of grief from some very good competitive shooters. I'm not going to name names, but man, I pissed a few off. It was actually kind of fun.
That's the best. That's the best spot to be in as a shooter too. Like, dang it, you're really making me struggle today. That's awesome.
Like there's this one little, because we did like not like a USPSA, but kind of like that, a pistol challenge that we'd sit up in there. And I bought some baby toys, you know, the ones you got to put the shapes in, like this is the triangle hole, this is a square. So the start of the sequence of the shooting stage is I had that under a towel, and I didn't tell them what it was. And I said, okay, as soon as the beeper goes off, you have a task you have to complete before you can start shooting. And they kept, what's the task? I'm like, you will know exactly what it is when you see it. Like there's no question that when you see it, you'll know what it is. And it pissed them off. And then the beeper would go off. And because it was so simple, like it ruined their game, because suddenly they had to think about putting a puzzle together before they could load a magazine into the firearm. And it was great. It was so much fun. But in reality, like we're going to be confused if we get in a shooting situation. Our mind is not going to be functioning the way we think it's going to be functioning. So that's the way I justified it anyways.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, that's the perfect example. Just throw them completely for a loop.
It was so fun.
Gosh, years ago, I was young. I was probably like 22. I had an instructor, and we were doing a CCW class, and it was at night, and he had like a fake phone, and like, you know, it was like your dresser, and you had to like call as you're actively, he's calling out the threats and the colors and what you have to engage. And then occasionally he'd walk by and just grab the table and throw it in the pitch black. Now you got to go find everything. And he's still calling out things and going to be the operator yelling at you for your address or what's going on. And like, I think about that drill all the time. Like that was such a good one. Just completely threw me for a loop.
Well, it's reality, right? It is reality. I mean, people aren't going to be throwing tables around your house, but you're going to be completely confused when a situation like that shows up.
Oh yeah.
I hope not. I hope not. But you probably will be.
Adrenaline's gonna kick in. You're gonna throw your own table trying to grab your gun. You know, something stupid like that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, how else do you train for it?
Yeah.
Just silly little games.
Yeah, 100%. So speaking of shooting, like, how did you get involved in the 2A community? What was your introduction to it?
The long of the short. When I was 18, I bought my first gun, and I had stupid questions an 18-year-old would have about a gun. And I kind of got a little ridiculed for asking stupid questions. When we moved to Caldwell, I was in a gun shop that remained nameless and saw the same thing happen. So I came up to her, I was like, hey, I want to open a gun shop in the shed. She's like, yeah, whatever. And then like 2 months later, I was like, I got my FFL. So
wow.
Just kind of wanted to provide an opportunity. Like we're appointment based. So we try to like not stack customers, and everybody gets to have their time to just talk shop. I have appointments just for coming in and asking questions and hanging out. And that was kind of what spurred me into it. It was just like, let's build. There's so much to know when you first get into this, whether it's your holster, the gun, the ammo, the cleaning kits, all this stuff that you have to kind of compile. And I was like, let's just build new shooter kits. And help them out. And then I kind of got more involved in some of the custom building and styling of different guns. And it's like, okay, well, general retail is great, and I don't mind doing that. I don't want to keep a ton of inventory because it's hard to plan for that. I don't have a big space anyway. So
Yeah.
it can't be really based on like customs, whether it's a custom order, but just something basic or a package or custom builds. And it's been about 4 years now I've been doing that. And then, like I said, that repetitive day in and day out of running between my shed and my house is what spurred on Ready Mounts. Was like I needed something in the shop. I didn't really want to buy a bunch of stuff, and so I could just kind of transfer easy and kind of piecemeal out. Like all the mounts go to the rail, and all but the universal can go directly to a wall. So you can kind of like piece them out from where we want. So like in the shop in here, on the opposing wall that's behind the camera, that's, you know, a little bit more pieced out, and stuff is set up differently so that you kind of see and stylize it a little bit more.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
No, that was it.
I just another thought came to my mind while you're talking about, because I know as an FFL or as a gun shop, obviously maintaining security of the firearms is a big deal as an FFL holder. So do you have systems that you can lock to the rails to secure the firearms that way?
I get asked that a lot, and I've never put anything into it. The part of the company motto is like, for every mount I'm looking at, you know, compact design, simple deployment, and just ridiculously overbuilt. That's never going to fail. And the simple deployment is the big one for me.
Sure.
When you need to get it, you need to get it. And moving pieces, locks that get in the way. I get asked a lot for like kids and other people. And like, honestly, just in my house, my kids are raised around guns. They know we have rules. Like the best rule I ever had for my kids is like, if you want to see a gun, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. We're going to stop. We're going to go. And we're going to look at one. It's never a taboo thing. So they don't lock just because I want you to be able to access it when you need it.
Get in quickly. Sure.
Yep. So it's not something I'm really interested in pursuing. I get asked a ton. I did have a customer that actually took the AR mount and just drilled a hole in the top and then ran a cable lock through it. And that works. You're not getting off easily. So
yeah.
I've gone through some like SketchUp designs of like, well, maybe if I do this or that. But again, it comes back to that philosophy of like, I want simple deployment. That's
sure.
what this system is.
Sure. Man, if it works, man, it works. Why change it?
Yeah, and honestly, like a lot of people buy them and put them in their safes. So, you know, there's your level of security right there. They screw them right into the boards, and that works.
Do you have options for inside of the safe as well? Is that?
I haven't. I'm been in discussions here and there with a couple of manufacturers of like making, you know, a system for them to integrate, but most people just end up screwing them right into the boards on the door or whatever. I mean, it's not really going to change the fire rating at all.
Right.
I know code to code it probably would, but it's a tiny little screw. It's not not affecting much.
Right on. No, it's super cool. I dig the idea. I need to come down to your shop and hang out is what I need to do.
I mean, anytime.
Problem is me getting out of this stinking side of the state. Like I said, I've been sick. Everybody knows that from the show that I've been ill, and so it's been tough for me getting over there. I used to make it over there twice a month.
Wow.
Between teaching and doing some other stuff over there, like with Nick from Hoftech, and I just haven't been able to get over there the last little while. It's been kind of frustrating.
I bet. Yeah, it's kind of a fun place to come do stuff.
Yeah,
there's kind of always something going on as far as the two-way community goes.
Yeah, it is. In fact, I got a few people that I need to come back and interview again. I was over at Federated Ordnance a while ago when we did a walkthrough, and that was super cool. I need to do that again.
I think I've toured that like 3 times now. I mean, it's down the street from me, but I was called to it. I'm like, hey, can I come in and take another tour? I just kind of want to look at it again.
Yeah, good old Joey. He's like a brother.
He is the nicest man in the world.
He's a good dude. Last time I was there, I gave him some cigars, and because I don't smoke, but I had a bunch of cigars that I acquired. I'm like, here you go. This is a gift for letting me come and hang out.
I mean, they make such good ammo. Holy!
I need to shoot some. I need to buy. Actually, I need to buy a bunch. Is what I need to do. But I need to at least try a few rounds out and see. I'm sure it's clean. It looks tremendous just from putting it in my hands. And
the only way I can describe it is I've never shot like a box of ammo where every single round felt the exact same.
Yeah,
There's no change in any of it.
That's awesome. That's a big deal when it comes to manufactured ammo. A lot,
Yeah.
and some people don't notice it. If you shoot a bunch, you kind of feel the difference between a couple of rounds in the box that don't feel quite the same. But
yeah, something's just a little off. But these ones it's every single time I know exactly what the recoil pattern is going to be. It feeds just right. I haven't burned a bunch of the AR ammo up yet. I need to do that. But as far as the pistol ammo goes, man, it's my preferred choice when I'm grabbing ammo.
yeah, I need to. They had a couple of 25,000 round drums just sitting there. It's like, Joey, let's just put these in the back of my Suburban, and nobody needs to know. But he didn't seem to think that was a good idea.
He's a little picky about that part of it. I've asked the same thing. Like, there's a pallet, a truck's here. We could just, who's gonna notice? You can manufacture this much in like 5 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah, who's gonna know, right? Other than my own soul.
And you, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not the best thing in the world to. I do not condone stealing ammunition, just in case the listeners and viewers that is not something we condone, but we all dream about it.
Yeah, we've all looked at it, especially when the store's got that big old bucket of loose ammo. You just kind of want to run your hands through and just run,
like Scrooge McDuck and his stack of coins and DuckTales. You might be too young for that.
Nope, I remember that one. Where I was thinking of the scene from Ocean's 11 where they're like going over the guys that have robbed, and one's running with a big old handful of money and gets shot at the door, and it all goes flying. That'd be more than realistic.
Yeah. So you talked about training a little bit. Is there a class that you've like recommend, like your favorite class you've ever taken? Let's maybe ask you this: what's the favorite class you've ever taken? That's probably the best way to ask that.
I'll be honest. Like, I love training with Raul Garcia at 1030. I know 1032. He's just an outstanding shooter. I got to do a one-on-one with him one time, which was the most painful experience of my life. He just kept stressing me out and making me do things. And honestly, my game improved so much. And so as far as classes go, man, it's hard to beat.
He's a stud. Yeah, I got to do some stuff with him. This was a while ago, but yeah, such a good teacher. And an amazing shooter. Oh yeah.
You never know that he can just drill holes over and over and over again everywhere, and then you watch him do it, and you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah. He taught me some of his trigger discipline. This was years ago when I was at Independence, and that did change my life as far as like pumping rounds in the same place. Yeah.
We got to do one. Oh my gosh, that was January of 23. We were demoing out a class for him that he was going to introduce to like teach LEOs. So it's January. It's like 4 degrees outside. It's sleeting. So it is misery. And we burned through, I think, 800 rounds that day of just pistol. And by the end, your thumbs just can't work. And I think that was probably the funnest class I've ever had. Because I remember sitting there trying to get my slide to release, and I just can't. It looks at me like you have an optic. I'm like, oh yeah. Worn out, I'm tired, everything's cold and hurts.
Yeah, I had Raul on the show quite a while ago. I need to get him back on. That for some reason I think the recording wasn't very good or something. Just didn't sound right. And that was probably a year and a half ago. I need to get him back on. That was before he started doing his little podcast thing. And
oh yeah, and I love that one. Yeah. I do listen to that one too.
Yeah, he's such a good dude.
Yeah. And then I can tell my customers, like, if you can safely handle a firearm and you're competent, you're not going to hurt yourself or anybody else, I highly recommend just going and shooting competitive.
Oh, yeah.
USPSA is my preferred favorite. 3 guns my favorite, but like if it's just pistols, USPSA. There's a lot of people that aren't that competitive. Any trainer worth their salt's already there. It's going to exacerbate your issues, and then you're going to get correction while you're there. I mean, 150 rounds, $20. How do you beat that price for training?
I haven't shot. In fact, I was thinking about it recently because we have the USPSA group over here in Idaho Falls, and it always seems like their matches are on like the worst day of the week for me. They're always on like Saturday morning. Not that that's the worst day of the week for me, but I always think about it too late, and it's like only once or twice a month, which is kind of frustrating. If I could do it every week, that'd be rad. But when I was shooting competitively, regularly, you're right. Like your skills get better. Your transition to targets is faster, and I don't. It's just something you're fighting against the clock, which is immediate stress. It's just so much. There's so much to learn there. You don't necessarily get in a class. it's something you can only really glean from competitive shooting, in my perspective.
And you can watch people shoot and see what they're doing, ask questions. Like, I've never met a bad soul there. Even the guys that are decked out in their jerseys and their race guns and are laser focused, you can just sit there and talk to them, and they'll point out things and they'll lay it out for you. And it's honestly, it's the best bang for your buck if you can be not kicked out.
And honestly, yeah, as long as you don't do something really egregious, right? You could even go without any gear, and I've seen this. Like, people are like, "Hey, come and shoot." Well, I don't have anything. That's okay. Here's my belt. Here's a couple mags. Just go shoot.
Yep.
Okay. And they're totally cool. Here's somebody handing you like a $2,000 race gun. Here, go shoot a stage.
Okay. I was laughing when I started 3-Gun. I got like their welcome email, and it's like, "Don't buy any guns. Just don't. Come. We'll supply you with stuff. Test it out first, then see what you want to do." And it's true. Like, the last one I did, I was just loading. I had a 5-shot shotgun, and I was loading from a fanny pack because I forgot my shell holder. And one of the guys is like, "Did you just want my drum fed AR?" I'm like, "No, I'm just gonna continue doing this stupid thing." But you could always just ask, and they'll even let you borrow their belts and try out different systems. I've seen guys swap midday and just, "Ooh, I like yours. I want to see how that works." And it's a welcoming environment. You wouldn't think it'd be.
Yeah.
You'd think everybody would be a bunch of tools and laser, aggressive, and they're not. They're honestly just out there to enjoy it.
There's very little ego there, which is good. I'm sure you'll still find one here and there, but my experience has been very similar to yours. Like, it's total chill, a fun place to go, and even just to watch, it's just fun.
Yeah. I went out earlier this year for the Masters. I just started off for the day and watched all of them shoot. Like, wow.
Was that out in Parma, or where'd they go?
It was at Nampa Run Gun.
Nampa.
Yeah. That was a good one. Just seeing the way they solved the courses and stuff. It was, whoa. Yeah, you put some thought into this one.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never been to Napa Rod and Gun. So
That's nice.
I don't know how big the range is. So GunCon, I mentioned GunCon to you a little bit ago. So John has been trying to find a different place to do it other than Brownells this next year. So I keep telling him, "Hey, we got Parma, we got what's that one just outside of Boise to the east?
Double Tap.
Double Tap." He's like, "I've never heard of those." I was like, so I shared him the email addresses or the websites and stuff, but I don't think he's going to do it. I think they're big enough.
They are.
But he's like, "Well, it's got to be within an hour of an airport." I'm like, well, Parma's not really an hour from Boise Airport, but
no, it's not. Nampa's pushing it. Double Tap's, I think, about 35 minutes from the airport. So,
and I think Double Tap is big enough. Honestly, the range that they used at GunCon this year, I think it's a big range. It's nice, but I think Double Tap is the same size.
I wouldn't be surprised. There's a ton of shooting bays that's laid out really nicely. I just did an event with a Boise Black Rifle there as a vendor. Like, all the vendors are on one side, all the shooters on the other side, and you probably had like 75 vendors. It was awesome.
Yeah, I totally think he could do it there. I'm jealously want him to come onto this side of the state. I drove, so Brownells is like 19 hours from here, from Idaho Falls, and I drove. It took me 3 days to get there, but me and my son, I took him with me. We drove all the way back, one shot. It was like 19 and a half hour drive, nonstop, other than for fuel and Buc-ee's. We took a detour into Colorado to go to Buc-ee's, but yeah, that was a long day.
Oh,
so I would definitely want it at least, Salt Lake or somewhere close that I can, drive down there and drive home in a day.
And be happy about it. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's cool, dude. Like, you need to start hitting them up, because it's like a mini SHOT Show, so you get in front of a lot of people. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's kind of, I need to start pursuing that. It's kind of where I'm hoping to get to, maybe SHOT Show this year. Probably not as a vendor. That's quite the fee.
It's expensive.
Yeah, but just to even walk around and check out what's going on and see what's out there.
It's a huge eye opener. I love SHOT Show so much. That's why I'm really hoping to go this year. I had a chance to go last year, just did not. My schedule did not cooperate with me as much as I tried to make it work. But yeah, if I can finagle it, like, I plan on going this year, and it should be a good time.
Yeah, I've been trying to go. I mean, honestly, my best friend's mom's a competitive shooter and trainer, and I think, gosh, we were probably like 12 the first time she went, and she brought back the swag bag. And, back then it was like a duffel, and since then it's like I have to go to this one year. I'm still trying to get there. I think this is my year. 2025.
If you want free stuff, the secret is you stay till Friday. Most people leave Thursday because Friday's like really quiet, and they're done at like 1:30 or 2 in the afternoon. So you stay until Friday afternoon, and like instead of people like, oh, I don't want to take this back in the box, like we got so many shirts and just junk. Like that's the secret.
That's the move. Yeah, nobody wants to haul it all back into the loading bay.
Yeah, I was trying to get like high dollar stuff, but for, plate carriers and Cry Precision had their booth, and like, no, we're packing all this stuff home.
Just one. It's just one. It's not a lot.
I just want one pair of $400 pants. Come on, man.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll come a day late and stay. Come a day late and stay a day late.
Yeah, or just go from Monday. Actually, I don't know. I got to look at the schedule. Usually they do like the shooting on Mondays, and then Tuesday through Fridays the event. But it seems like I heard they're doing the shooting Sunday this year.
Ooh, dang, so an extra day.
Yeah, so I don't know for sure. I got to look at the schedule. I'm probably wrong. But it seems like I remember hearing that somewhere. I looked at the schedule, but I don't remember what it is.
No, I know. I need to get the hotel. But that was my problem last year. Is I went to book late and there was nothing left. I was like, well,
yeah,
I'm not renting an entire Airbnb for myself. So
yeah, and that's the way to do it. If you can get a few dudes together and just kind of split the cost. The last time I went, we had it was like a timeshare that they had rented, and they just happened to have an extra room. So I'm like, sweet, let's do it.
Yeah. Heck yeah, why not? No, I think I'm gonna try and take my wife this year, and we'll see if my mom can watch the kids, and we'll go make a fun week out of it.
Yeah, it's the first time is really, it's almost overwhelming. Just there's no way you can see every booth. It's impossible unless you spend like I think it's 10 seconds a booth. You might be able to see everything. But it's fun. And you get to meet some cool people. This year, my plan this year is instead of spending so much time on the floor, I actually want to network with some people, some other creators. My goal for the show was to be much bigger than it's gotten. I'm still pretty small, even though I've done it since 2018. But my goal for SHOT was to actually do some networking and visit with people instead of just getting patches, which I still do. But usually
that's part of the reason.
Yeah, I mean you'll be tired from walking around all day. You'll get 15,000 steps in every day, and you'll be exhausted. And I don't know how there's dudes.
At least food on the floor, right? Like I don't have to leave the premise. Okay, yeah,
it's expensive. It's probably cheaper to leave and go get food, but you can find places there, and there's tons of places to sit and chill, and a lot of booths have chairs. You can just kind of hang out and.
Maybe that's the move is be a vendor, but then also have like a nice chest full of grub for people. Lure them all in that way.
Honestly, dude, you could sell if you went to Sam's Club or Costco or something and bought a whole bunch of like snacks. You could easily make all your money back.
I bet
easily.
Yeah, I was down because it's at the Venetian, right?
Yeah, it's at the Venetian and whatever's the one next to it, Caesar's Palace.
Yeah,
because it's way bigger now than it was.
Yeah, I got to go to AU, which is like the nerds version of SHOT Show. It's all for computer aided designing and stuff like that. But it is the Venetian. It's the entire event center. It's a ridiculous kind of similar size. But the only thing they had that was nice is they had food tables everywhere.
Yeah,
and it was all free.
Yeah, this isn't free. SHOT Show's not free. That's cool.
See, what are they doing? They need to change this.
And if you can not sneak in because you can't sneak into the parties. If you can get invited to the parties, that's where all the free food and the cool stuff is. Like a few years ago, I got to go to the Glock. Actually, Raul hooked me up with some tickets for the Glock party, and that was super cool. Like it was black tie. Like it was. I didn't have a tuxedo or nothing to wear, but I mean it was fancy, and they were giving away. That was when they came out with the Gen 5s. They were giving away guns. Like it was. I didn't win any, but It was
That's
awesome.
the party you want to go to. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to figure out how to get tickets to places.
Yeah, so if you can get into the Glock party, Cry Precision's party is absolutely nuts. I've never been. They usually have it outside in the desert somewhere, and it's like, I don't know. When I was at last one I went with was at Independence. I kind of tagged along with Independence. I paid my own way, but one of the employees there had never been before. He's a vet, and somehow he got hooked up with the Cry tickets, just like first time at SHOT Show. And dude, just look up the videos for if there are any out there on the tubes, and you'll see how crazy the Cry party is. And there's a few like that.
Nice.
Probably not the safest one to take your wife to. It might be a little bit too much.
Probably, yeah.
But there are some nice parties. Action Target, they do a, if you can talk them into they'll do a Top Shot. They rent all of Top Shot in Vegas, and it's like 3 hours. You go golf and eat all you want. And
that's what I'm interested in. I want the eat all you want part. The free guns and the eat all you want.
Yeah. I have yet to sneak into that one. And I know those people pretty well from running a couple of ranges, but yeah, I've yet to get in there. Those jerks. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. How long have we been going? I guess not quite an hour yet.
No.
What's next? What cool stuff is up next in your life? Maybe not necessarily with the Ready Mount product, but what you got something cool coming up?
Yeah, I mean, business wise, it's just changing things, adapting and modifying stuff. We're working on a slat wall variant for everything actually too, just for getting them into shops more.
Sure.
So most of the gun shops already have slat wall installed, so it kind of makes sense. It's a real simple system to kind of display stuff. But man, other than that, it's October in Idaho. It's hunting season. So
yeah, you got to kill some animals.
I know, and I'm going to be going next week, and I've only got 4 days this year. Normally, I try and hit archery season, and maybe a couple weeks there, a couple
deer,
weeks.
Correct? Or is that elk?
Elk too, yeah.
Okay, I don't hunt. A lot of people look at me for like, you don't hunt. You're this gun guy, and you don't hunt. Yeah, I don't hunt because I do not need another expensive hobby, so I just don't go.
You don't have to make it expensive. I think that's a lie that people.
I have to tell myself that because I will like it. I know I will love it too much, and
it's too fun, man. Even if you don't tag out, it's still a good time. You always come out with some kind of stupid story of how you almost died, or maybe that's just me. But yeah,
if I can take other people's elk roast and put them in the smoker, that's cool with me.
I mean, that is nice. Yeah, then you have to do any of the work, which is the packing out sucks.
Yeah,
it's a weird dichotomy of you're so excited, but then you're also so miserable carrying all this weight.
I think it's the suck that makes it the rewarding part. Like, I did this.
Yeah. You get it back to the truck and you crack some beers and it's just like, yes, all right. I'm going home now.
Do you dress out your own game?
What's that?
Do you dress out your own game or do you take it to somebody?
Oh, no, I dress it out.
Nice.
In fact, I raise most of my own animals to butcher, so it's just
awesome.
Standard for me to do it. I know what I'm doing and I'm more comfortable with that than taking it anywhere. So
yeah.
I've
heard horror stories. I have heard horror stories.
I've seen it. It's terrifying. I've seen guys that have come back with not even their own animals.
Yeah.
Not even the same animal.
Oh, wow. I think that's what happened to because we butcher a cow every other year. And I think, I don't dress it out myself. I don't know how to do that part, but I think the butcher didn't give us the cow that we dropped off. It doesn't. Because my father-in-law raises the cows. I know how they're fed. I know how they taste. I don't think this was our cow.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of that. So I've always just kind of, if it's got 4 legs, it all dresses out the same. It's just bigger.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's easier just to pack it out. And it's all boned up and ready to go than trying to drag a carcass out. I can't imagine, especially out here. I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a fact my spot is 6 miles on foot.
Damn.
It's I can't imagine trying to drag that out.
You don't take like a motorcycle or nothing? You can't get it up in there?
Oh, if I could afford one, I would. That has been my goal. I see these guys putt by me and I'm like, you look so happy right now and I'm looking miserable. And
just go bite the bullet, buy one of those little electric dirt bikes that go like 80 miles and then you're good.
I've been looking at those little ones they have like Cabela's and they're like, I don't know, like this tall. They've got like a Strat lawnmower motor. They go like 4 miles an hour. Like,
hey, as long as it holds the weight,
it'll hold me up and I don't have to walk.
Yeah, it's a little loud. I guess you could build a muffler for it.
Yeah, probably, yeah, or just get the first few miles done and hike out the rest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be quite lovely. That is, I've been very envious of people many times.
Yeah.
I'm duct taped up my feet and they're all blistered out and I'm worn out and struggling and they're just cruising on by happy as a clam, like they didn't do anything all day. I just hate it.
Yeah, think of the time you would save.
Oh, I know. I could sleep in, still make first light, come back, and still have time to cook a nice dinner.
Yeah.
And not just eat a pouch of whatever. And I know.
I don't want you to give away where you're hunting, but do you have any issues with bears where you hunt?
I've had a couple. The worst one was archery season. I didn't bring a pistol. I left it in the truck. I was just gonna hit this last little ledge and popped out of some buckbrush to within like 5 feet of a black bear that was popping out of the buckbrush on the other side. We were just standing there. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna keep walking. Just pray for the best.
Yeah, no kidding. Bears scare the hell out of me.
I don't know. Cats scare me.
That's what everybody says, but after hearing the story of that old lady in Colorado choking out the mountain lion, I'm like, yeah, I could at least fight a cat off. I don't think I could fight a bear off.
I don't know. I mean, like black bears are pretty timid. I mean, the grizzly, you're just gonna die. That's just what it comes down to. But at least with cats, you never know it's coming.
Yeah, they're just
9 times out of 10, you'll be dead before you know what happened. But
did you hear about that story about those teenagers that I guess they weren't teenagers, but the young guys that got attacked by the grizzly bear in eastern Idaho? Did you hear that news story?
Oh yeah.
So that was my they got the two of the kids got hurt. One really bad, but that was my son's friend's little brother, and it was like, well, he was with a group. He wasn't one that got mauled, but he was in that group. But yeah, we got issues with grizzly bears in my area.
Yeah,
they're back in the day. They said, oh, they'll stay in Yellowstone. They're not going to leave the park. Whatever. We got issues with grizzly bears, and there's a ton.
Yeah, I got to see a trail cam footage of one up in the Boise Mountains like 3 or 4 years ago. Guy had one up on his cabin, and I mean, it is no doubt a grizzly bear walking right by his trail camera.
Yeah. I am scared to death of bears. Like, I do not like them.
I like seeing them from a distance and making sure I can still see them from a distance.
It's fun if I'm driving through Yellowstone Park and I see him. That's the adventure. Yeah, I don't want to meet one in the woods.
No, it was one time I didn't get that close to one. It was quite the experience.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it was a beautiful cinnamon fall bear. I mean, it was just a stunner.
And no bear tag.
Also no bear tag. I've always carried a bear tag since then.
Yeah. Because you never know.
Was one. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't describe the color to you other than just like this wonderful cinnamon color. It was stunning.
Do you guys have any wolves over there?
Yeah, there's quite a few. I've run into tracks quite often. I've seen one time in the WMA up in the foothills. Was sitting there late season hunting for deer, and I was like, that is a really big dog.
Wow.
And it's moving really fast, and it's chasing a coyote. That's not a dog. Oh crap. I just watched it chase coyote for like 3 or 4 ridgelines.
That's cool.
But we were out bird hunting once and saw some were standing there, bird shot shotguns, and it was powdered snow. We just got there. It snowed, and the tracks are, fresh. We spooked them out as we were walking in. It was like,
wow.
Whoa.
And see, I think I'm more scared of a wolf than a cat.
Yeah, because there's more than one.
You got a whole pack of them you got to worry about.
Yeah.
I've never seen one in the wild, even in Yellowstone. I've never ever seen a wolf, but I've got a lot of buddies that hunt and they even have the wolf tags and they have to get way back in there. And the wolves are so smart. They do not want to get shot, and they know how to stay away from people.
Yeah. They can see coming from a mile away, and they know what that means.
Yeah, I know.
For some reason, that information is passed on generationally with like deer. Yeah. It's not always. You'll run a deer, they'll just walk up to you and like you're a new friend.
Yeah, wolves are cunning, and I know there's a lot of people like, oh, don't shoot. They're a graceful animal. That might be sure, but I don't raise livestock, but my father-in-law does. He hasn't had any taken by wolves, but there's a lot of farmers around that have. They're they're not far. I've heard stories of wolves just outside of Idaho Falls, walking the foothills, taking dogs and stuff. Like they're closer than what people think.
Yeah, and don't be wrong, they're a phenomenal animal. I mean, my last name is Wolf, so maybe there's a little partiality there, but I mean, they're a beautiful animal, they're intelligent, and they have the greatest impact on an ecosystem of any animal. But that's also, they have a great impact, so you kind of got to watch it.
Yeah.
You can change everything.
And what a lot of the pro wolf people don't understand is that's not even the native species of wolf to this area.
Yeah.
So it's kind of not fair to the ecosystem in a way too. That's a much bigger wolf that they've introduced. And
wasn't it from like the Canadian timbers? Like it's a Canadian timber wolf hybrid, something like that.
It's a big dog, and I mean it's killing. Yeah, it'll take out the weak of the elk and the deer, but it also just kills and leaves animals too. It doesn't, it kind of ruined the elk herd and the deer herds around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of sad to see. Which is why I understand why we're pushing more laws on it. I will say, Fish and Game, as much as it's green jeans and everybody hates green jeans, they do a good job up here.
Yeah, they're still need to make it. They need to make a grizzly tag though. I wish they would. A controlled hunt. They could make so much money off that hunt.
Oh, people would be lining up at the door more than the sawtooth tag for it. I mean, they would be all over it.
Yeah. And we need to bring that herd down. I mean, they could only sell 100 tags a year or something, because not all 100 are going to get filled.
5-10 guys to tag out, probably. If you're lucky.
Yeah. Fish and Game, if you're listening, figure that out, would you?
You can hire us for more advice. We don't know anything, but we're going to spit opinions.
I actually knew a guy that used to work. Well, he was a subcontractor for Fish and Game. He would cull the coyote herds from a helicopter. Like, dude, I want that job.
Yeah, how do you get that job?
I don't know how this guy got the job, and I was super jealous. So yeah, they'd fly all over the place.
So
yeah, I've looked on Grip or whatever, Group Recruiter, whatever, all those websites. Yeah, it's not on there.
No, I need to make more friends in that industry to get that.
Yeah, just to fly in a helicopter would be fun, but to shoot animals,
to do that and shoot animals from it. I mean, or even just shooting just in general.
Yeah, that's one of my goals too, is to go down and shoot hogs out of a helicopter. I think that would be a ton of fun.
I've heard they taste good too.
I've heard both. Like,
I think you gotta know how to cook them.
Yeah, that could be. I don't mind bacon.
You gotta follow the recipes from the down south, where they're cooking them all the time. But
yeah, probably.
I had a buddy that just went down and shot one from a side-by-side. I think that thing weighed out like 670 pounds.
Judas piece. That's a lot of pig.
That's a lot of pig. You can eat grind for months.
Yeah. Think of all the sausage. I couldn't eat it all. I'd be sick of it.
Yeah, you'd have to supplement something else.
Craziness. Well, where can people find you?
So in the Treasure Valley, we're obviously at my gun shop, which is 43rd State Armory, Midstar Firearms, Faith Outdoors. They both carry products as well. We're working on getting to the other shops in town too. And then ReadyMountUSA.com is the website. Everything's available on there. Ship out.
You can buy. They can buy off the website as well.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Try and make it as easy as possible.
Nice.
And also TikTok, apparently, because that's a thing. So
you're in the TikTok shop?
I am in the TikTok shop, not for the gun stuff. Only some of the mounts, like the ears and eyes, the plate carrier, the helmet. We didn't talk about probably the best mount.
Yeah, you better show me some stuff, man. What am I waiting for?
We have the Zen holster, and we have the Copenhagen one behind me too.
That's funny.
With a Molly clip, which is the best seller on TikTok, obviously. Kind of had to make that for my own personal problems. Like I said, they were all born from me. But so yeah, some of those things are on there for TikTok too, and they have like incredible sales that I have no control over. So I had somebody pick one up last week for 1 cent. That's what they pay. I have no control over that. So
yeah, I'm still trying to figure out, because Nick keeps telling me I got to sell holsters because I have a TikTok account, which it's almost, I keep getting strikes on it for posting pictures of guns. But he said, you got to sell my holsters on TikTok shop. I'm like, well, okay, I don't know how it works. Like,
Yeah, you gotta have like 5,000 followers and a bunch of other stuff, but then it's literally you just talk about it and then you sell them. I've got a few people that do it for my stuff, and yeah, they literally do nothing but make a video and then they make a commission. It's really cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah,
it looks like
so
you
follow
got
us on TikTok so we can get there, so we can start doing that.
Heck yeah, I think that's fantastic that you're on the TikTok shop. Like that's rad.
Kind of. Nick's the same one. He was the one who was like, you need to get on there and do it. So I think I've had more TikTok shop sales than I've had normal sales.
Well, the thing is like I see armor and all sorts of stuff on there. You should be able to sell this stuff on there.
I just can't do any of the guns.
You just can't show a gun.
Can't show a gun. That's what the boomstick's for. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see if it gets approved. But I also have 2 strikes on that account, so I'm trying not to push the limits too hard. But yeah, we're working through some ideas. Maybe a banana for the pistols, but everything else is on there. Just not the actual firearm mounts.
Well, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Who would have thought TikTok would be a place to sell items like this
and sell them so well? Like some of those guys are making insane amounts of money on commissions.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get there.
Yeah, you jump on it. I'll reiterate what Nick says. Just get on it and get to it. Like it's crazy.
I should sell my patches on there is what I should be doing, because I have a few patches for the podcast. I think you've seen them actually. I think I should.
Yeah,
I share some with you. I need to get you some is what I need to do. But maybe I should sell them on there, because I put them on eBay and everybody bitches on eBay. Oh, they're too expensive or whatever. They're not. They're just priced like everybody else is on eBay.
Yeah.
But my website, how I've done my website, if I want to do sales, it's like an extra $200 a month, which I'm not going to do.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's stupid. I don't know why it's that way. I might have to just switch who does my website, I guess. But so I've been trying to figure out a way to sell, and TikTok's probably the easiest way to do it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you can set up your creator account in like 20 minutes, or your TikTok shop in like 20 minutes, as long as you have a business. It's really easy. Highly recommend you do it.
I think I did set up the Range Minded podcast as a business on there. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah. And then you can just add it.
I should try that. I see a mag holder back there too. I need to get a couple.
Oh yeah. So we've got for the mag holder, that's the AR-15, we've got an AR-10, and then we have 2 pistol variations. So 23 millimeter spacing for your standard double stack 9s, and a 24.5 for like staccatos, STIs, Terrans, stuff like that. They're a little bit bigger.
Right.
I think that's the only one that we have really big variables on. But yeah, we got 3 different mag mounts too.
So you got a ton of options for this system.
Yeah. Trying to keep it growing, just not becoming like a catch-all for everything, but trying to keep it 2A related as much as possible. So there's a good chunk.
Other than the Zin.
You'll laugh. I was at a shooting competition and I have one of these on my battle belt, and the RSO was telling me that it was not part of my kit, so I couldn't have it. So I asked him to let me shoot 1 course of fire with it, and she proved that it was. So we were transitioning, and as I was running, I reached back, pulled one out, put it in my mouth, put it back in, and continued the course of fire.
Oh, that's
and I got to keep it. And now that is allowed in my kit because it is part of my kit.
That's hilarious. That is the chillest I've ever found.
It was the most stupid thing.
And that's pretty amazing to have the process of, I'm going to throw a patch in while I'm running between. That's pretty good.
I had to. I wanted to have it on there. I like it. It's nice. I don't have to go look for it in the truck, or I don't like having it in my jeans because it wears a hole in my jeans. So
yeah,
it was in my opinion, it was a necessity.
Hey,
it's also probably a problem that it's a necessity, but nonetheless, it's there.
Within moderation, I guess, right?
Everything in moderation.
So is everything black? That's another question. Do you offer colors, or is everything just
currently everything is black? I do have some colored ones, like Hoffer's getting a whole set in red because he asked.
Sure.
I'm okay with doing in colors. It's just going to cost more because I do have to buy. I buy this black in bulk, and there's obviously building the price for that. So if you want colors, I'll do colors.
Cool.
You just kind of got to make it worth it. Stuff's not cheap.
Not anymore.
No, and I didn't want to have like 20 different color options and try and keep like all the inventory and all the colors at all times. It's problematic. But yeah, if you have like I definitely need this color. Like that's just mine. That's what I do. Reach out, send us an email. I'm always happy to do that. Or if you have an idea and you're like, hey, I have this specific thing, can you make something for it? I'm always happy to look at it.
Yeah, that's super cool.
That's the benefit of the manufacturing process is it is adaptable.
Yeah. I've been one of my various other jobs, my grown-up person jobs, is I helped start a plastics company, and so right now we do. In fact, I bought one of the thermoformers from Nick, and then we do some laser cutting, and then we just bought an injection molder, and so I got to learn how to run that damn thing. The 3D printing and the thermoforming and the laser cutting, that's super easy. That stinking injection molder scares me. So
yeah, and the cost to make molds is insane.
Oh yeah.
We looked at it for this one. It was going to be like $300,000 because it's like
just the mold
8 pools. Yeah, like so many different pools, just with all the different ledges and edges and shapes and stuff that make it so strong, but also look nice. Like to actually try and produce that injection mold, it'd be crazy.
We might need to talk about some injection molding stuff.
Oh, dude, some of these will be easy. Some will be like a couple minutes, a couple pulls, maybe even one pull. But
yeah, we don't have. It's not a huge machine, and it's a 90-ton press or injection molder, so it can get into some crevices. The first part that we're doing, we've got a contract for, is for fuel tanks, for propane fuel tanks, high pressure. So it should be fun. They're pretty intricate little piece, so it should be good.
I got a laser engraver too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cutter engraver.
That's next on the list. We're gonna be getting a laser engraver, so you can design your own logos or whatever if you want. We'll
it's fun to. That thing is super fun to play with. In fact, I cut out some ABS plastic today and made a cell phone holder for my pickup. Just formed it to. I have an old. It's like a 96 or 97 Forest Service truck, so it's not real glamorous. But I needed a place to put
like mint green.
Yep, and I needed a place to put my phone, so I thermoformed a phone case, put on my dash. Worked great.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that's the fun part. Is like I can make all kinds of different things. My wife keeps making fun of me because someone break in the house and I'll just 3D print the replacement for it. Stop 3D printing our house. I'm like, no, it works and it's cheap.
Yeah, I need to understand 3D printing more. We 3D print a lot of. We also do stuff for a company called Haltech, so they make Corvette intakes. So we've been starting to 3D print hoses and stuff for the intakes, which has been kind of interesting. Yeah. And so, 3D printing is the future. I mean, it already is happening. But
people bring it up all the time, like, well, it's 3D printed, it's going to be a piece of junk. Like, no, you don't understand how much it's changed. Like, it's impressive.
Yeah, I just 3D printed in the last episode. I showed people I 3D printed like all the mags for my battle belt because I wasn't going to pay the price for them, but I found a file that was just pretty much the same thing. So I was like, I just 3D printed them out. I'm going to try them out. I don't know how good they really are going to be. I haven't actually shot with them because I just did it. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've been working on designing a new foregrip, which we're handling this way. So a new foregrip, but I'm going to print out a nylon. So it's temperature resistant. It's super strong, vibration resistant, but I can 3D print that. So I'm no longer limited by tooling. You're
going to do glass fiber, carbon fiber? What are you going to do? Or just straight nylon?
Straight nylon. Straight nylon is the strongest filament in balance, right? Like as far as temperature resistance, strength, and also brittleness and vibration resistance. It's as far as like toughness goes, it's a hair, not a hair. It's a little bit better than PET G, which all of ours are made out of PET G. They're not PLA.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, it's truly impressive.
Yeah, we print some PCV fittings that are out of carbon fiber, and it's still pretty cool, but they are a little more brittle than they're strong. If you hit them with a hammer, they're going to shatter, but they're super heat resistant. It's like 500 degrees or 800 degrees or something ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like I know the melting point on these is 230 Celsius, which is a few hundred degrees Fahrenheit. Like, you're not going to have an issue with that.
No. Yeah, I want to get my own 3D printer. Instead, I just use the one at work.
Yeah, I mean, it's free. Might as well.
Yeah. I mean,
They
it's
are
just
kind
sitting
of
there.
a pain in the butt sometimes.
Yeah, I don't understand it very well. We've had some interns that last summer we had a couple interns that were working, so I'm like, hey, print me this. Okay, they'll design everything, and I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah,
I don't know how to design stuff. I can just pull a file off the internet and print it. That's the easiest way for me.
That's the nice way. Yeah, that's the cool thing too. Is there's so many files on the internet.
Yeah, so many.
On the internet.
There's a lot of cool files on the internet that I don't.
So people get
I haven't
really
downloaded.
creative. Like
Yeah.
I've got a shot shell caddy, like a 12-round shot shell caddy that's 3D printed. Somebody went through the time to make one,
Really?
and it's legit. And it works very well.
Because I've been trying to set up a shotgun. That's the other thing is I didn't print anything. I found some shot cards. I made a vest. I bought a cheap vest online just to see if it's worth it. But I've been trying to trick out my shotgun because I don't know. I've been jonesing about doing some shotgun stuff, so I want to make sure I have the kit set up for it.
It's fun.
So I'm gonna have to find that shot shell caddy.
I'll send it to you. Yeah, it's pretty nice. You gotta buy a box of screws and screw it all together, and it was like 5 minutes of work. And I think that what it's replicated off is like a $80 or $150 caddy. It'll cost me like $10 for his screws.
As like these mag pouches, they were like $30 or something online. The file was free. It was like 4 hours of printing. Like
machine time, that does add up. Like I've got multiple printers because that really will stack up on you.
Yeah.
I've got to get to that tonight too. Still is get the machines running because we just had an event and sold a bunch of stuff, and now I'm low on inventory.
That's a good problem to have.
It's good. Yep, it's good. So,
well,
yeah.
Awesome. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, like, you know, it's a good thing to have. It's growing. It's fairly new. I think technically Ready Mounts itself has been a company for maybe coming up on a year. I think I filed for a patent around December of last year. So that's when it actually started becoming its own company. Nice. So it's starting to grow pretty good and get traction. And that's the big thing is as much as I hate social media with a passion, that's where you grow at. So
yeah, unfortunately, that is the nature of the beast right now. That's the best place to do sales is is online.
And it's really hard as a gun shop or gun related business because then you post anything and
you get torched. Yeah, it is frustrating. So I don't know. I've been trying to find some other places to stream like firearm content. YouTube is TikTok. I cannot stream anything gun related on TikTok. Seriously, I advertised for one of the episodes of my show, and all it was the barrel of a Colt Python. That's it. It was just the barrel of a Python with the episode of the podcast. Immediately flagged. There was no video. There was like that's it. And I was like, "Are you serious?"
I had a video when I was in here, and there was a dummy gun on the wall, and it got flagged. Yeah. But then my 43rd account has a video with like 4.8 million views, and it's me shooting an AR.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and then you flag it, and then you appeal it, and you like copy out their TOS, and like, look, I didn't break any of the rules. And they're like, no, it's all right.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
The losing battle.
Twitter has actually been pretty beneficial for me, honestly. Like I've spent a lot of time on Twitter and networking with two people on there. Elon keeps saying he's going to do some long form video, like you could do a YouTube. Once that happens, dude, I'm going to be all over that. But until it happens,
I keep hearing it's the best place to go for that because you're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like before, you couldn't do it before Elon got it. It was a little tough.
Yeah, I think that's when I had it was back then, and I didn't like it. So
I spend way too much time on Twitter. Way too much time.
That's the problem. We're all way too much time on all of it.
Yeah. Okay, dude. Well, I'll let you get those printers racked up. I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight, man. That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for letting me do it. I appreciate the time. It was fun. It was more often.
Next time I get out Boise way, I'm gonna come hit you up. We'll take a tour of the shop and we'll go do some shooting or something.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, you have an awesome night, and I don't know what else to say. Take somebody shooting. That's what I always say when I finish a show: is take somebody shooting.
I like that. Take somebody shooting. Get them in the industry.
That's right.
All right.
All right.
Thank
See
you.
you. Yeah.